So come onto your mat and lay down and have a block nearby, because we're going to use that fairly quickly. And once you've laid down on your mat, I just want you to find a neutral pose that feels good to you. And maybe instead of the hands being out to your sides, take the palms of your hands and place them on each front hip bone. They're called the ASIS bones, A-S-I-S. And just feel those bones, those prominent prominences that are sticking up from the hips. And just allow your hands to rest on those places. And then let your legs do what they will. Let your shoulders relax. Start to find your breath. And maybe as you're finding your center this morning, you get a sense of those two hip bones. And ideally, they both feel pretty even. One side to the other, one's not really high or really low. One's not hiked up or hiked low. Just kind of get a sense of that. And feel your breath as you inhale, deepen through the lungs, the ribs. And as you exhale, let it all go. And again, just a deep breath in. And a big exhale. Good, one more right here. Deep inhale. And big exhale. And then start to walk the legs to hips width apart. Flex your feet. And imagine that you are standing. So I want you to really feel as if both legs are standing. Be mindful here, your knees might want to hyperextend because we are laying down, there's space there. So try not to hyperextend the knees. Fire up the legs, start to fire up the outer hips, start to fire up the glutes. The back of the head nice and even, the chin's not lifted. Think of the crown of the head reaching way to that corner of the room. And notice the energy that it takes. Pretend you're squeezing a block. Feel as if you're standing on the floor. Maybe take the arms overhead. Let the thumbs touch the floor if that's okay for your shoulders. And just notice here, just feel all of the energy that it takes to hold this pose on the floor. Everything squeezing into the middle, and then relax and let go. Right? If it felt like that every time we were standing, that would be a serious amount of work. All right, so one more time. Bring the legs to neutral. Your knees should be pointing up. Your toes should be pointing up. If you're not sure, support your head and look at your feet. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Imagine you're stepping on the floor. Start to squeeze the outer legs, outer hips. Glutes engage, right? Not too much space behind the lower back, but neutral. The shoulders are down. The arms go overhead. The thumbs pointing down to the floor. The palms facing each other. Lengthen through the back of the neck. You are standing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Squeeze it all in. And exhale and let it go. And then bend both knees. Bring both knees to chest, rock side to side, just a little bit here. Hold your right knee in, stretch your left leg really long. And switch. And switch again, just stretching it out a little bit. And last one here, stretch it out. Both knees to the floor, both feet to the floor, both knees bent. Leave your right knee bent, take your left leg to your chest and then take it up to the ceiling. Just stretching out those hamstrings, circle your ankles. And circle the other way. And then point, point, point. And as you bend the knee, flex your foot. And as you straighten the knee, point your toes. Good. 3 more here. Flex your foot as you bend your knee. As you lengthen that leg, point the toes. 2 more. Flex. And straighten and point. Last one. Flex your foot. And straighten and point. Good. Really reach. And then bend that knee. Let that foot come back to the floor. Draw your right knee to your chest. Straighten that leg. I'm using my hands just to support the back of the leg. Circle that ankle. There you go. Just circle one direction. Circle the other direction. And then straighten the leg. Point the toes. As you exhale, bend the knee. Flex your foot. Nice strong flex. And as you straighten the leg, point your toes. And again, bend. And straighten and point. And bend it. Last one here. Straighten it. Really reach those toes. Flex the foot. Bend that knee. Let that foot come to the floor. Have one of your blocks right at your right side. I want you to straighten both legs. And then slide your right heel back up as comfortably high as it'll go. Your foot's on the floor. And then turn that knee out to the side. Don't use your block just yet. So draw your right foot to your left thigh. Think of tree pose. But don't hold it up. Don't hold it off the floor. Just allow it to be where it is. Take the hands, put them back on those front hip points. And notice where you tend to go. Everybody's tree pose is different. It depends on your hip structure, how open or straightforward those hips are. But notice here, if I don't do anything else, my left hip with the straight leg is high. My other hip is low. My right side glute is all the way on the floor. I'm starting to lift off the left side. I know that's not a good tree pose. So the first thing I want to do is engage the left leg. So that long straight leg, I want you to fire that up. Flex your foot, squeeze the leg, squeeze the glute. And then take your block under your right knee, anywhere from your upper thigh out to the knee, and see if you can start to find center again with those hip points, and really have the hands there. Don't forget about the left leg. Keep it fired up. Start to level out both hips so that you are pointing those hips straight up to the ceiling. And then maybe push your foot, maybe lift the right foot off the floor a little bit and push your foot into your thigh, into your inner thigh. If your knee doesn't allow that, your foot is just lower, right? It's down at the shin. It's above or below the knee. And just notice. So some of you are going to have that block nice and low. Some of you are going to have it up a little bit higher. Some of you are going to have it way up high. And I want that support for you so that you can come to level hips. And it can be tricky. Maybe go higher than you think. Fire everything up. Push your left leg all the way into the center isometrically. Reach those arms up and then take them back behind you. Let the thumbs touch. Draw the lower ribs down toward the floor. Find tree pose. Lay down. Just notice, really, really work hard here. Really squeeze the glute, really squeeze the legs. Keep that kneecap pointing straight up, the left leg. Find your breath, everybody. And then take the arms up. Release those arms down. Release all that muscle engagement. Take the block out, but just hold up for a moment and see if you can hold that left hip down, right hip level as best you can. Squeeze the heck out of your right glute. Find your breath and just let it go. Just like totally let it go. Knee is still bent. Your foot's back on the floor. Your back maybe out of alignment, but maybe not as bad. And then draw the right knee up, straighten that leg. Have your block on the other side of your mat, the left side. Both legs straight, and then slide your left heel up to where it is comfortable for you. Turn that knee out to the side, come into a very relaxed, not aligned tree pose on this side. So I notice for me, this isn't as bad as the other side. So my right hip must be tighter. I'm not lifting as high on the right. My hands are on my assets bones, my frontal hip bones. I'm just checking that out. How does it feel? How is it even? How is it not even? And then go ahead and fire up the right leg. Start to really engage through the quadriceps, the glutes, the hips. Find your breath, grab your block, place it under your knee at any level until those hips come back to pretty neutral. Just notice. And even if you're not sure, go higher than you think. I should have said that on the other side. And notice how the body starts to shift and align when the hips are truly even. Good. Really start to engage the glutes. Fire up your right leg. Everything else is neutral. The crown of the head is neutral and straight back to the wall. Maybe lift your left foot off the floor so it's truly at the left or the right inner line. And breathe. I don't know about you, but this is a bit of work. You know, if we're really engaging and kind of sucking everything into the middle, and take the arms up, draw the shoulders to the floor, let the arms come overhead, thumbs touch. Draw the lower ribs down a little bit so you're not arching. Think if you were standing, you wouldn't be overarching. Big deep breath, everybody. And take the arms up. Release the arms, release the glutes. Aww. Pause for a moment, let that foot drop back to the floor, take the block out. And see if there's any real difference there. Good, and then take the left knee up straight in that leg. Take both knees, bend both knees, both feet are bent, the feet are touching, take the toes or soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. And just rock a little side to side, no seriousness here. Just like check it out, where is this hip for me? And then come back to center, take the hands to those hip bones again, and just feel, are you fairly even? Are you centered on the sacrum, right? Are you centered in line, tailbone, sacrum, spine, crown of the head? Press the feet together, engage your glutes. Some of you are going to lift just an inch or two off the floor, hips off the floor. Breathe. If that does not serve you, don't do it. Don't hurt the ankles. Don't hurt the knees. Squeeze the glutes toward each other. Keep the lower back long, so don't let the hips drop. Keep the tailbone lengthening. Big deep breath. And exhale, let go. One more here. Squeeze the feet. You can just squeeze the feet. Do nothing else. Otherwise, lift those hips. Breathe. Working through the legs, working through the hips, hang in there. That's it, nice and easy, and lower down, everybody. Draw those knees together, and draw knees to chest. And just rock a little side to side, maybe a few knee circles here. And then allow the knees to roll to one side. Come on up to a seat. Good, and have a block near you. I want you to grab your strap if you have it. And take it into a fairly good size loop. What I noticed for me in my legs is that it was about the same length or the same width as my yoga mat, my short edge. It'll be different for you depending on your hips. So once you get that in a loop, just set it to the side. We're going to use it in a minute. And then take the legs straight out. Good. Just nice and straight. Good Dandasana pose, hands to your sides. Start to lengthen through the chest, like a really nice lift of the chest, and then take the arms out. And I want you to pretend you're rowing in a sense, right? So you're gonna pull back and then reach forward. And pull back, watch the low back here, and reach forward, pull back, and forward. Fire up the legs, pull back, good, and forward. Squeeze back, forward. Let's go 3 more. Squeeze it back. Oh, good. You are part of a team. Pull. Good. And 2 more. Pull back. Good. And last one. Pull it back. See if you can hold. Reach the arms out. Little bit of core work. Don't sink into your low back here. Just breathe. That's it. Find that pose. Lift the chest a little bit more. See if you can lift one leg off the floor. Firing up those legs, getting the muscles ready for balance work. Fire up the right leg, right, or the one that's on the floor. Lower down, hang in there, lift the other leg. Woo! Push one leg down to lift the other one. You got this. And lower, lift up all the way. Dandasana pose. Exhale, release those hands. Roll the shoulders. Good, and then without using your hands, some of you have done this with me before, so you're not going to use your hands. If you can, you're like, you know, hanging on or a little prayer pose or just right here. Slide your left heel up, turn the leg out to the side, and then take it back up and lower it straight. Good, and again, same side. Bring the left leg up, take it out to the side, bring it up, and straighten. 3 more right here. Squeeze it up, lower it down. Pick it up, and straighten, right? So think 1 Janusarsasana, right? Single leg forward fold. Think tree pose. Good. Last one here. Squeeze it up, take it out to the side. Squeeze it up, and release. Shake it out. Lift up through your chest, flex your feet, no hands. Bring the right leg up, take it out to the side. Doesn't really matter how high up you're going. We're just working through the hip flexors here, the external hip rotators. So we're trying to get some movement there. Good. And 3 more here. Bring it up, take it out. I forgot my left leg was being pretty lazy there for a second. Bring it up and out. Up and down. Last one here on the right. Squeeze it up. Take it out to the side, bring it up, and straighten it. Good. And then bend your left leg and come into what you would consider Janusarsasana, or I call it a single leg forward fold. But the leg is out to the side. Have your block. Place it under your left knee. And again, fire up your right leg. Take your strap, no loop on this for this one, and just wrap it around your right foot. I don't want you to come forward. What I really want you to do is pull back, as if your right foot were stepping on the floor. And then notice that. And then squeeze your left foot into your right leg. Squeeze your right leg back in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And breathe. Keep reaching the chest forward, the shoulders back, the belly is toned, the leg is active. And release it. Now, before we switch sides, I want you to take that loop that you created. Take it through both legs. Have your buckle where you can adjust it, so somewhere kind of in the middle. Straighten the right leg again. Take the left leg back into Janusarsasana. And here's how the strap needs to be. It is above your right knee. So it's not below, it's above. And then it's somewhere around the structure of the knee joint on your left side. So I've got it wrapped around my left knee. My left foot is pressing into my right inner thigh. And the strap's above. And then tighten it. As much as you can comfortably. It's not so tight that the legs don't set, but it's tight. And then take the block back under your left knee and just notice the energy of this, right? Notice how this feels to you. If it's too tight, like mine was a little too tight, so I felt it pressing on that outer ITB, that iliotibial band. No pain here. So make sure you've got it in a good spot. Press in. Feel how much that takes. Think tree pose. So when we're standing, the glutes are active, the legs are active, right? Legs are pressing into foot, foot's pressing into leg. Take the arms up, just notice it, and breathe. And maybe swan dive a little bit forward. And notice the straps kind of almost keeping you a little bit honest here. The hands come to the floor, the chest lengthens toward that long leg. The Janu part of this, right? The legs itself are doing wonderfully. They're not going anywhere. And we're just checking out. Maybe I come to a little bit more of a forward fold, maybe not. Maybe I reach for my foot. Maybe the hands drag along the floor isometrically. Breathe. And come on up. Release your strap. Good. Take it off. You probably could leave it on, but I hadn't tried that, so. And straighten the legs. Good. And then let's go to the other side. So the right leg comes in. Standard Janusarsasana. Hips are even. Leg is out to the side. Take a block, place it under your right knee, even if you don't feel like you need it. And see how that feels, because once the inner thigh is out of the picture, we can play here a little bit. Grab your strap, take it around your left foot, fire up the left leg, pull back on the strap, press your right foot into your left thigh, press your left thigh back into your right foot, lift up, lift up, lift up, and feel the energy of this pose, of the structure of the legs in this pose. Keep breathing, just find it just as if you could lift that foot off the floor. Nice, nice, nice. There you go. And release it. And then release the pose for a moment. Take the strap through the legs again. And come into Janusarsasana on this side with your strap available. So left leg is straight, right knee is out to the side. You might have to adjust your strap. It might not fit quite the same way as you did before. Block is under your knee at any height that you need. Good, and then once you get that, give it a good snug so that you feel like that knee, that leg aren't really gonna go anywhere. And notice it again. Notice how that compacts everything to the middle. So much of stability is drawing back to the center line. When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Fire up the left leg. Ground it. It's flexed. Nothing's going anywhere. Breathe. Maybe swan dive forward. Maybe the hands come to the floor. Maybe the shoulders draw back. Maybe they come to your foot. Good, breathe. Say hello to your hamstrings. Keep the legs active. Don't only rely on the strap. Keep them actively pressing toward each other. Big deep breath. And release. Come on up. Woo. Take the strap out. Just set it to the side. Good. Set your block aside. Both blocks are pretty much to the front of your mat. And then I want you to lay on your right side. So this is kind of an interesting thing. If you straighten both legs, that in itself can be a balance challenge because you're starting to notice whether the hips are rolling forward or back. If you can, see if you can find both hip points even. So you are not leaning forward, you're not leaning back, you are stacked one on top of the other. Your head, excuse me, your head is comfortable. So if it's easier to have your head down, take it down. If it's okay to have it hand in your head in your hand, do that. Your front top hand is resting on the floor. Flex your bottom leg. Release that, goodness gracious, release the left leg and just slide it up your thigh. Once again, think about tree pose. Check the hips. So here's what's really interesting. It's an education for many of us with tree pose. So fire up your bottom leg, squeeze your glutes, level out your hips, and notice that if you try to take your top knee completely out to the side, which would be pointing up to the ceiling, you're gonna start to shift the hips. So my top hip is having to go back to make my knee point straight up. If I bring my hips into alignment, my top knee is forward of the hip. And you might be in any degree of that. Your knee may be well forward. It depends on how you're built, right? There's no good, no bad. There's no I should be better. It's just the way you're built. So I want you to squeeze your glutes. I want you to find the line so that you're not leaning back. Flex that bottom leg, fire it up, and release everything and slide it back down. Good, and then just as a stretch, slide it up, reach it up to the ceiling, take it down. Good, 2 more here, just slide it up, squeeze it up to the ceiling, lower. Good, last one, slide it up, press it to the ceiling, and lower down. And then bend both knees, and either turn over or switch sides. Again, never assume one side is going to be the same as the other. I find it more challenging to balance on this side for me. So stack the legs, start to stack the hips, use your top hand to support you. Head is up or not, it's up to you. Notice that, right? Start to squeeze the bottom leg, slide the top leg up to wherever it'll go for you. Really fire up the glute at the bottom. Feel as if your foot's pressing into your thigh's pressing into your foot. Find, see, it's funny, one side's so different. Find that levelness with your hips. Squeeze everything and breathe. And then notice again, if you try to take that knee straight up to the ceiling, here's my tight side. I am rolled a pretty good ways back to make that happen. Instead, I want to bring the hips center. I want to feel that. Squeeze your glutes, everybody. Find your breath. Oh, yeah. And release it. Slide the leg back down. And then just 3 times, slide it up easy. Take it up to the ceiling. Drop it back down to the leg. Take it in. Slide it up. Take it down. Last one here. Bring it up. Slide it up. And lower it down. All right. Go back to the first side. We're almost done with this. Hang in there. You're back on the other side. You're back at the side. This time I don't want you to hold your head up even if you were before. I want you to take that arm straight out and let your head rest on that inside bottom arm. Flex both feet. Your top arm is still supporting you, your top hand. Take your bottom leg into your sideways tree pose. And breathe. Start to squeeze those glutes towards each other. Squeeze the front belly so that core is supported. And 1, the hand stays on the floor. 2, the other arm reaches. Think again, tree pose standing. Bottom leg active, foot is flexed. Woo. Breathe, everybody. Find that little sideways adventure. I'm just kind of swaying a little forward, backwards. The more I think about it, the more I sway. Breathe and release. Oh, and go to the other side. Last one here. Laying on your left side. Stack your legs. Drop the head down. That arm is reaching straight out. Bring your top leg up, find your tree pose, fire up the legs, fire up the glutes. Imagine that your belly was supporting you from the front And your glutes and hips are supporting you from the back. There you go, breathe. When and if you're ready, take the top arm and let it reach overhead. Finding that tree pose, squeeze your belly, everybody. And release. And let go. And come on up. Oh, yeah. Good. And from there, just come right to all fours. Plant the hands. Have your blocks near the front of your mat. Few cats and cows here just to stretch all that out. Good. One more there. And then a neutral spine. Step forward with your left leg. Grab your blocks. Let your hands come to the blocks. I've got mine on the medium setting. And just come into a nice, easy lunge twist. I'm still firing up the right glute a little bit, keeping everything contained. The chest is lifted. With your hands on your blocks, flip your toes under, lift your knee. Hold right there, squeeze your belly. Notice if the hips are unequal. If they are, level them out. Everybody breathe. If you're still okay here, I want you to keep your right hand on the block and take your left arm up. Little twist. If that's too much, lower your right knee. Big deep breath. And then take the left arm, circle it forward, down, back, and up. One more. Big circle. Down, back, and up. Let it come back to your block. Lower your right knee to the floor. Slide your left leg back. Slide your right leg forward. And breathe. Here we are again. A little engagement with your left glute. Getting a nice stretch for the left quad. Good. Flip your toes under. Lift your knee. Watch the blocks, by the way. There's a tendency to overlean, like let the body hang into those wrists and hands. So try to stay light in your hands there. Your back leg stays neutral. Your right arm goes up. Breathe. Nice, easy twist. Again, lower the left knee if that's not quite right for you. And then circle, right arm, squeeze and roll. Good. One more big circle, making sure the shoulders are warmed up. And let that come down. Lower your left knee, slide your right leg back. Set your blocks aside. Plant those hands again. And find downward facing dog. And just pedal the feet, just stretch it out. Maybe wiggle the hips a little bit. Breathe. And then come to the center of your downward facing dog, wherever that is for you. And I'm going to give you an option. Either stay here, or I want you to alternately tap your opposite knee, opposite thigh for 10. So it's 1, plant the hand, 2, plant, 3, plant, 4, plant, 5, don't rush it, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Both hands on the floor. Come all the way to your tippy toes. Lower your knees. And come into a little child's pose here. Just breathe. Good. And come on up. Table pose. So I call this pose quarter moon. I can't find another good name for it, Sanskrit or otherwise. Leave your left knee where it is and kickstand out the left knee. Straighten your right leg so that it is long to the edge of your mat. And then take the left hand and make sure it's in line with your shoulder, but maybe just centered a little further out than shoulder. And then start to turn your whole body to the side so that you're facing, I don't know, you're facing out, you're looking out, you're starting to get a sense of this pose. Same thing here. I want you to squeeze the belly and ground the right leg or that long leg. Feel your foot really active and take the right arm up to the ceiling. Just breathe here. Just notice. Good. Optionally, play with a little tree pose-ish here. I want you to take that bottom leg, the left leg, and just take the foot to the inside right thigh. Breathe. This is what we yoga teachers do. That's it. Press through the glutes. Belly squeeze in, glutes squeeze forward, hips are level. Find your breath. And lower the foot, lower the hand. Square your body back off, shake out those hips, maybe press back to a little child. And come on up. So, same thing other side. The right foot pivots out just a little bit. The left leg goes nice and long. The right hand for me always has to come into alignment a little bit. And then start to turn your whole body opening. Engage the back leg. Take the arm up. Hold right here. Feel the strength of that standing arm. And then only if you want, bend the right knee and take it to the left thigh. Left thigh, left knee. Just a little play here. I'm trying to adjust without moving and it's not happening. There we go. Breathe, everybody. Keep the legs active, the belly active. Try to unscrunch your toes. And release the foot back down. Release the hand back down. Square the hips and come on back. Good. Come on up for a second. Just curl out your wrists. Maybe squeeze those wrists. Shake them out. So next option. We're going to do something similar with plank, side plank pose. If you already know plank is just a little too much for shoulders, I want you to stay low and do quarter moon again, okay? You can even lift the leg to have a little bit more work in the shoulders. Otherwise, I want you to plant the hands and come to plank pose. Squeeze the legs toward each other. Your left hand walks toward the center a little as you slide over to the side of your left leg. Take your top leg and bring it forward and stand on that foot, side plank. I want you to reach out of the standing hand as if you were reaching for something up at the ceiling. Don't let the bottom hip sink. Press the hip away from the floor. Flex your feet. Breathe. Lower the hand down. Straighten the leg. Come back to plank. Other side. My right hand comes a little towards center. I turn to the right. I bring my top foot, my left foot forward to give me a little training wheel, a little help there. And take the left arm up. Find your breath. Press out of your standing hand. Reach up with the stick, with the long arm. And exhale. Whew, come on down. Lower the knees. And either child's pose or just sit back on those heels. Shake it out. Right. Roll your shoulders. How's everybody doing? All right, so choice number one. You're coming back to quarter moon here. Choice number two, left hand down, plank, side plank, foot forward. Choice number three, we'll see if we can do this. Everybody come to plank. Please Be honest with your body. My left hand just slightly center. I'm going to turn to the left, and I'm going to think about this for a second. Either take your top foot forward or take your top leg into tree pose. Woo! Big deep breath. Fire up the glutes, fire up the belly. Lower down, release. Wow. That's a tricky one. Shake it. Even though I've been playing with that, I still wobble quite a bit. So there's work to be done, right? There's exploration to be done. All right, other side, everybody. I'm not gonna put my butt to you this time. Find your pose, quarter moon, assisted side plank or plank. Right hand slightly centers, turn to the side. Hand to your hip. Squeeze the hips forward, squeeze the belly in. Decide, see if you want to play. Bring that foot up. Whoop, there she goes. And breathe. Oh yeah. Right. Find the pose. And release. Lower your knees. We haven't even stood up yet. Take it out, everybody. Roll your shoulders. If you are able, if your feet and knees are able, just sit for a moment with those toes flipped under. And just stretch out the feet while you shake out your wrists. And if you're able, I want you to drop those toes, tops of the feet, and just lean back. Stretch out the feet. Good. And then release from table pose, maybe a short down dog. Walk your hands all the way up. Nice forward fold. Those of you who know, maybe halfway, not a full forward fold. Breathe. And then bend the knees. Take your hands to your knees. Lift your chest. Come all the way up to standing. And roll your shoulders. Grab one of your blocks. And take the block between your legs. I've got mine on the medium width. You can go narrow or medium. And just squeeze those legs. Just squeeze. And just feel the power of that as the glutes engage, as the hips engage. And if you went medium, go small, go narrow. Level out the feet, think mountain pose. Squeeze the thighs into the block. And imagine that this was your tree pose without even lifting. Your hands can come to your hips, your chest is lifted, crown of the head reaches up. Feel the four corners of your feet. Notice if you're leaning to the outer edges. If you are, press the big toe mounds down to the floor. Block is narrow, keep squeezing, and then just turn your left foot so that you're in this kind of weird version of tree pose. The block is high enough that it's not going to go anywhere, it's not slipping, but yet you're squeezing the block into each inner thigh. Yeah, right? And then release the pivot of that foot. Squeeze your block and try to lift that foot off the floor completely. Now, we're not truly into tree pose. I think everybody's okay balance-wise here. You can tap in and out. But once we start doing more of the tree pose, we'll bring the chair in just for support. Maybe the arms come up. There it gets trickier, right? Breathe. And lower down. Block is still in place. Legs are squeezing toward each other. Hands to your hips, squeeze your butt. Pivot the right foot. So maybe your heel reaches your leg. Maybe it doesn't. It's all going to depend on your legs. Squeeze your block. This is a grounded tree pose without the block. And it's a really good way to start playing with balance. You're on your big toe or you're on your big toe mound. Reach the arms up. Squeeze the ribs and belly in. Squeeze the glutes. Smile. And exhale, take those hands back to your hips. Turn that foot. And then see if you can lift that foot off the floor. Balance work. Hips are even. Front hip points are even. Find your breath. Maybe the arms go up, a little bit more challenge. And exhale, release, release that block. And just feel those legs. Good, and then grab, if you have a chair, just grab it. I'm pretending this is my chair. I'm just gonna have it in view so I can show you some options. And that's my chair back, right? So in tree pose, I find tree pose such an interesting way to play. And the first thing that we're going to do is just notice as we shift, I have the chair to my right, so I'm going to start with my left leg. As we shift to the left leg and just lift the right foot off the floor. Notice what happens, right? The tendency is to lean out into that outer left foot to try to find balance. But really what we want to do is draw everything to center to find balance. So squeeze your outer leg toward your inner leg. Squeeze your inner left thigh even more to center. And then release. Good. Maybe if your chair is there, take one fingertip or a couple fingertips to your chair and externally rotate your right leg and leave your big toe on the floor. Outer hip, right? They call this sassy hip. Your hip's hanging out to the side. Squeeze it in. Belly squeezes in, glutes squeeze towards each other just enough to support. Belly's in. Now, take one or both hands to those front hip points. Make sure they're even. And then take your hand back to your chair and look at your knee. You could see mine is nowhere near sideways. My hips are even, my knee is at an angle out from my hip, right? So notice that and feel that. For some, this is tree pose. This is where you play. Maybe the foot slides off the floor and you play there balance-wise. Everybody else, wherever your tree is, go ahead and bring your right foot, your right inner foot to your right foot to your inner left thigh. Now that I have the chair there, I want it. I never use the chair usually. All right, so find your still point, hands are to your heart. Squeeze your inner left thigh into your right foot. Squeeze your right foot back. Think of drawing everything to center instead. One, stay here. Two, the arms come up. Just standard tree pose. But imagine your hip points like car headlights. You don't want them off to the side. I don't want my right knee off to the side in this pose. So now I'm going to relax my toes a little bit, my standing toes. They're digging a hole. Breathe. And then bring the hands back to your heart and release. Oh, shake it out. Good. So pretending there's a chair on my left side now. You can just turn if you're using your chair. Same thing. I want you to gather in your body, right? Gather in the legs. Squeeze everything towards center. It's not an over squeeze. Like I'm not trying to grip. I'm just drawing the energy into the center line. Hands come to hips. Just externally rotate your left foot. Let the heel rest on the leg. Let the toe rest on the floor. Start to squeeze everything back toward the center line so that we're not dropping the hip out. And notice again, are my hip points even? They feel pretty even. Then I'm going to just glance down at my knee and see where it is. That's the way I'm built, right? I'm not built out here, I'm built here. That's the structure of these hip bones. It's all good, it's all normal. All right, so 1, stay here. 2, try to get the toe off the floor. There was a study done, Dr. Lauren Fishman, I think his name is, Fletcher Fishman, I have it. And he said as soon as you take that foot off the floor, you build 67% more energy in the bones, right? Just going from toe to no toe. You don't have to go all the way up. But wherever you are, let's take the leg up. Hands come to your heart. Squeeze the outer right hip into the center. Squeeze the inner right thigh into your foot. Squeeze your foot back into your thigh or above or below knee or foot down to the floor. When you're ready, arms up. Big deep breath. And bring those hands back to your heart. Release your tree pose. Ooh, shake everything out. Just take your feet a little wider than your normal. Hips width apart, soft knees. Either come halfway down and you're just resting your arms on your knees, or take those hands all the way to the floor for forward fold. Right, we feel those hamstrings. We feel the legs, we feel the feet. And then bend your knees, hands to knees, lift up, all the way up, roll your shoulders, shake it out, everybody. And then maybe come back closer to the chair. So that was a standard tree pose. We're going to shift again into your left foot and take the right foot back into your tree pose. Now, it's either on the floor, it's halfway up, anywhere really. The heel to the knee is just not a good idea. It's not stable. It's hard on the knee. So above, below, all the way up, part way up, it's all okay. Draw in that hip. Feel all 4 corners of your standing leg. Take your hands to your heart. So choices here, keep the hips pointed forward, or we're going to go to bent tree or leaning tree. Your right hand is either going to go down to your right knee or it's going to go to the chair. Okay, either one. This is awesome. I'll probably go back and forth because I'm trying to talk and do. So I'm pressing my hand very gently, the back of my hand very gently into my knee. Take the left arm up, pause. Still okay? Lean toward the right side. So we're stretching out the left side. I am focused like crazy. Breathe. There's the chair. Woo. Or the wall. Resist the urge to lean too far into the right or into the left. And center. Woo. And release. And shake it out and roll out those ankles. How'd that one feel, right? As we take that body out of alignment, the legs, everything's got to work so much harder. All right, let's go to the other side. Right leg standing, your chair is to your left side. Take your left foot to your tree pose. Fire it all up, right? Fire it up. Find that. You can stay here. If this is your work today, stay here. Just play. Otherwise, the left hand comes down, the back of the hand to that knee, thigh, wherever it is for you, the wall, the chair. The right arm comes up. Squeeze the belly, press the hips forward gently, and take it over to the left. Oh, and breathe. That's it. Don't let the hip just splay out. My right glute is working overtime. Woo! To hold me in place. And then I'm just going to play. How far can I go before my body cannot hold the center line anymore? And come on up, everybody. Release. Take it down, shake it out. And just bend. Remember last class, if you were here, we just bent heel to glute, heel to glute. Just do that a few times. Good, shake it out. All right. It's a tree day, everybody. I'm surrounded by trees. So here we go again. Stepping a little closer to my chair, just in case I would like it. Hands to hips, gonna find the center. By the way, we can always step off mat. I can't believe I didn't say that initially. You can step off your mat, anything that's really thick or doubled. All right, lift nice and tall, nice and strong. Shift to your left leg. Take your right leg to your tree. Hands to heart. Coming back to the center line, right? Squeeze everything into center. Inhale the arms up, optionally. Find your truth here. Take your left arm forward, your right arm back. Twisted tree. My head is still forward. If I want more challenge, I'm going to start to look to the right. Whoop. This is my challenge side. Lifting the chest, squeezing the glutes. And center. Hands to heart. And let go. Oh. How was that one? Actually took the easier version of that twisted one. So just so you know. All right, other side. Right leg standing. Left leg to tree. Hands to heart. Generally speaking, we all have a strong side. And a side that is more limber, but less strength, maybe. One, stay here, 2 arms up. Belly squeeze, glute squeeze, leg squeeze to the center line. Take the right arm forward, the left arm back. Keep your gaze somewhat forward unless you want more balance. Good, turn that head to the side. Find your breath. You got this. Woo, take it center. Exhale, hands to heart. Let it go. Take it out. Take the legs maybe nice and wide this time. Come into a little forward fold. And just breathe. Good, come on up. Heel toe those feet in. Bend your knees and come all the way up to standing. Roll it out. Shake it out. I think this is going to be our last one. I think. Stand on the left foot again. Bring your right foot to your version. Squeeze it all into center. Lift your chest. Arms up. Right arm back, forward, left arm back. Right arm forward, left arm back. Hold. Or take the left hand, wrap it behind your back until your hand comes to the opposite side, your right side. Bring your right hand back and find prayer hands on your right side. Tree pose, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Find your still point. Now you've done this enough times, or you're just done and you're sitting watching, to try to find a little bit of equilibrium, like less stress, right? Less holding, less serious face and frowning and gritting our teeth. When you're ready, let go. Exhale your hands to your heart. Release that leg. Oh, shake it out. Last one, last side. Find mountain pose. Remember that squeezing of the block, right? Remember that? How active that makes those legs. So go there, and then take the left leg to your pose. Draw everything to center, belly tones in, the glutes tone, hips tone, hands to heart. When you're ready, arms up. All of this optional. Right arm forward, left arm back. Whew. Breathe. I think I did that. No, I think I did it backwards. Right arm forward, or right arm back, left arm forward. And then take that right hand behind your back. Take your left hand to meet it, so both hands and knee are at the same side. Reach, reach, reach. Don't lock out your knee. I haven't even said that yet this class. Squeeze in the belly, lift your chest. You got it. And then when you're ready, release everybody. Woo, take it up. Hands to heart. Release that leg. Shake it out. And just step side to side. If your chair is kind of on your mat, go ahead and take it off your mat. So it's out of the way. And step side to side. Soft knees. And then kick your heel to the opposite side glute. Opposite side. That's it. Just releasing all that tension in the legs, the knees, hopefully. Soft bounce. Think aerobics class. That's it. Now, the next time you are heading one direction or the other, see if you can find a still spot. We played with this last week. And then step down. And then lean and stop. And step. Lean and stop. Step. You got it. Lean and stop. Step. Lean and stop. Hold. Arms out. Woo! Breathe. Right. Hands down. Step down. Last one, last side. Lean. Hold. If you can. Breathe. And step down. And walk those feet together. Come up to the front of your mat. Roll your shoulders. Inhale, take it up. Exhale all the way down. Step back, downward facing dog. Plant the hands. Lower your knees to the floor. And come all the way down to your belly. And come into Sphinx pose. Remember Sphinx pose, right? Low back issues. You can take the arms forward, but you can also draw the belly in and lengthen the tailbone. The feet are planted. We find our breath. There is a tension to the back body, right? We've talked about this in the past. In order for me to back bend, the glutes are active. They're not overly squeezing, but they're active so that the front legs can stretch, so that I can go into hip extension. Big deep breath. And then lower down. Let your head be comfortable on your hands. Be mindful here, depending on the surface. I want you to slide just your right knee out to the side. It's on the floor. Your thigh, your inner thigh is down toward the floor. Your inner knee is on the floor. It's kind of like a half frog. They call this rock climber. Just chill. Just check it out. For most of us, I think most all of us, that right hip will be higher than the left hip. And that's okay. We're just letting gravity do whatever it wants to do. Deep breath. And then slide that right knee down. Slide the left knee out. Pause again. Be comfortable. And slide back. Good. Back to Sphinx pose. Belly tones in. Soft, low ribs tone in. Hands diagonally come to the corners of your mat. Lift the elbows off the floor only if you want. Little deeper back bend. Breathe. And lower all the way down. Turn over to one side and then turn on to your back. Hallelujah. Bring both knees to chest. And then reach through your legs and either grab your ankles or your big toes or the outsides of your feet and come into Happy Baby. And if Happy Baby is not, if you can't reach any of those, maybe just wrap the arms around the legs or wrap the hands around the back of the knees. So you're pretending the soles of your feet are stepping on the floor, the knees are descending towards side body. And just rock a little bit side to side. Pause back in the middle. Bring the soles of your feet together. If you can, hold on to the feet, let the knees splay out to your sides. Your feet are still off the floor. And then let go of the feet and let them come to the floor. Still Baddha Konasana. Lengthen the back body. Your hands come back to those hip points. Knees are out to your sides. And just let gravity take the legs. Unless you're in discomfort, just let the legs relax out to the sides. Find your breath. Relax your jaw. Relax your face, your belly, your chest. And then using the hands to the outer thighs, draw those thighs back together. Ooh. Bring your knees to your chest. Cross your left knee over your right, both knees in. Release that. Cross your right knee over your left to squeeze them in, just final stretch. And then release that. Stretch one leg to the corner of your mat. Stretch your other leg to the corner of your mat. Let the hands come down to your sides. Even check your hip bones for a second. How do they feel? Pretty darn even, right? Hands down, coming into Shavasana. And as you move into your Shavasana, you think about what I read first thing this morning by Annie Carpenter. She says tree pose is a chance to experience the magic of yoga practice. If you are willing, trying to stand on one leg becomes an inquiry into your own truth. So allow yourself to settle down. Let the body be heavy. Take in the sounds around you, maybe your air conditioning or a fan blowing a breeze across your face. Maybe feel your heart swell in gratitude and in compassion. Maybe let go of worry for just this one moment. Sink down even deeper, everyone. Know that you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. If you are ready to move, start to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Start to bend your knees. Draw the knees to chest, rock side to side, maybe some knee circles, just to stretch it out. And then allow yourself to roll to one side and gently press all the way back to a seat.